15 Best Zone 8 Plants to Put in Your Garden. Tall garden phlox is a must-have for the summer garden. It is a long-blooming perennial, mid-summer to fall, produces an impressive display, numerous flowers on a plant that usually stands 24 to 36 inches tall, and comes in many colors. It is, however, susceptible to powdery mildew, especially in Zone 8 and higher. Powdery mildew will not kill your plant, but it will negatively impact its appearance. To minimize infestations of powdery mildew, provide tall garden phlox with extra spacing, seek mildew-resistant varieties, and avoid overhead watering, irrigated at ground level. Some plants that we think of as shade plants can actually take quite a bit of sun in the north, providing they are given an adequate amount of water. The common bleeding heart is one of them. But, in Zone 8, this perennial should definitely be treated as a shade plant. Standing about 2 feet tall, its claim to fame is its uniquely shaped flowers. They truly do look ever so much like little hearts with a drop of blood falling out at the bottom. Dahlias grow from tubers and, unlike bulb plants such as reticulated iris and stargazer lily, are tropical and subtropical plants. Even though they are technically hardy to Zone 8, many gardeners there dig up the tubers in fall and overwinter them inside. The plant often performs better over the years if given this treatment. Dahlias are valued mainly for their large, colorful flower heads. There are many types, and they range in height from 1 to 6 feet. This perennial comes in dwarf cultivars that stand as little as 2 feet tall, while the standard red hot poker plant can reach as much as 4 feet in height. In either case, it is grown for its long, colorful flower spikes. The plant blooms for a long time on its own, but you can coax more flowers out of it through deadheading. Since, as with tall garden phlox, yarrow is susceptible to mildew, take steps to minimize infestations. Be sure to provide it with more than enough spacing to promote air circulation, buy mildew-resistant varieties, and avoid overhead watering. Siberian Bugloss performs well in Zone 8 as long as you give it shade and keep its soil moist. The Jack Frost cultivar is named for the silvery appearance of its foliage. This cultivar can grow to 18 inches tall when in bloom but is a more compact plant when not flowering. It is a perennial, with blue flowers in spring. The flowers are reminiscent of forget-me-nots, but its variegated foliage, green and silver, is what it is grown for. Don't forget ornamental grasses when planting your Zone 8 garden. Their foliage provides a backdrop for your flowering plants. Golden Japanese forest grass, also commonly known as Hakone grass, offers not only such a backdrop but also a rich golden color that makes it worth growing in its own right. It stands at 12 to 18 inches tall. The one thing it will ask of you in Zone 8 is that you mulch it so as to keep its roots cool during the summer. The Firebird coneflower grows up to 34 inches tall and sports bloom with a bright orange color. It attracts birds to the yard, offers winter interest with its namesake, cones, and makes for a good cut flower. Its drought tolerance is a real plus for gardeners in an area as hot in the summer as Zone 8 is. Becky Shasta daisy stands 3 to 4 feet tall and grows in clumps. This perennial bears the classic daisy flower with white petals surrounding a yellow center. It demands a soil that drains sharply, as waterlogging in winter can kill it. Divide it every 3 years or so to rejuvenate it. Deadhead it during the summer to foster additional blooming. Bugleweed has rhizomes that allow it to spread, making it useful as a ground cover as it reaches only 6 to 9 inches tall, even when in bloom. Unfortunately, that same quality makes it potentially invasive, so check with your county extension before planting it. If you do choose to grow it, select a spot away from flower beds where you don't want it intruding. Not only does it bear pretty blue flowers, but the foliage is also an attractive dark color on some cultivars, such as black scallop. Another short ground cover option is spotted deadnettle. It doesn't grow taller than 1 foot and it is somewhat less aggressive than bugleweed. This perennial has variegated foliage, in addition to its white flowers. It needs little care if planted in full shade, you just need to keep the soil evenly moist. A better behaved ground cover than either bugleweed or spotted deadnettle is creeping thyme. It also stays shorter, reaching just 2 to 6 inches tall, depending on variety. The trade-off, however, is that it is neither as showy nor as good at suppressing weeds. The flowers are small, but this perennial does boast aromatic foliage. Care primarily takes the form of keeping its soil evenly moist and removing weeds that spring up in its midst so that the latter do not crowd out your creeping thyme. Stella de Oro daylily bears golden, trumpet-shaped flowers and is widely used as an edging plant. While the flowers last only for a day, they are quickly replaced by new ones and can rebloom from early May till September and October. Stella de Oro, which stands 9 to 12 inches tall, is a vigorous grower and needs minimal maintenance. Just mix compost into the soil annually to promote fertility and drainage. This plant performs best in Zone 8 when it is given a bit of shade in the afternoon. Unlike Stella de Oro, stately stargazer, which grows up to 4 feet tall, is a true lily. It is grown for its large, bright, bicolored flowers. A full-sun plant in the north, give it a little shade in Zone 8 unless you are sure that you can keep its soil evenly moist at all times. Although perennial, stargazer is grown from a bulb. You can plant the bulb in either spring or fall, 6 to 8 inches deep. Another perennial bulb plant to put in your Zone 8 garden is Harmony reticulated iris. Among the first plants to bloom in spring, it puts out tricolored flowers that are mainly purplish-blue, with a touch of yellow and white. A dwarf, it stands at just 9 inches tall when in bloom. Reticulated iris often spreads via offsets. If it doesn't do so for you on its own, help it out by dividing it after its blooming period. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more interesting videos. And please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm.